Welcome to episode number 129 of the On Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on Blab on February 7th, 2016, Super Bowl Sunday. And BL and I are both not feeling very well, so if we cough in the middle of this or moan in the middle of this, we apologize.
You cough, I'll moan.
But every week we talk about the worst things that happened in online communications. We talk about the best things. We talk about some shiny new objects we're enamored with, and we wrap it up with some daily numbers. And BL always has the honors. So BL, what was the worst story of the week?
Well, there really were a lot, but we agreed we didn't want the show to be all political, so I went with the story I hate the most. That is that Twitter seems to be hell-bent on turning into Facebook, while at the same time, Facebook is hell-bent on turning into Twitter. I mean, it's so absurd, but it was announced in BuzzFeed that Twitter's planning to introduce an algorithm timeline as soon as next week, meaning that you will not see tweets in the order that they happen, which is what Twitter is all about. And the algorithm timeline on Facebook is the thing I hate the most about it, because it's deciding what I want to see and in what order. So Andy Lundell, a programmer at Venom Entertainment, he said they seem to be absolutely determined to turn their service into a generic brand Facebook. I don't know what they hope to gain, since everybody already has Facebook, and if the two services start to overlap, people will drop Twitter and just use the real Facebook. Well, for me, I'll just drop Facebook and use the real Twitter, but just a couple of days earlier, Twitter made it easier to follow tweet storms and long conversations. So they really don't seem to be at all clear on what it is they want to do. But clicking on a tweet now opens a separate window within your timeline, and that window appears for any tweet, and then all the surface replies and retweets all turn up in that window, which I like that idea, as long as it then goes away. But Twitter said Tuesday that the change, Jack said that the change would make it easier for people to follow conversations without losing their place. And there have been people who criticize Twitter for that, particularly the newcomers who don't want to bother to learn how to use the platform. But then yesterday, and this was retweeted 20,964 times, Jack Dorsey said, "Hey, Twitter, regarding hashtag rest in peace Twitter," because that was a consensus, I want you all to know we're always listening. We never plan to reorder timelines next week. What he did not say is we never plan to reorder timelines. So, that sounded to me like a statement I might have heard in the Republican debate last night.
I think it's a good idea. I like the idea. Absolutely do. I have completely ignored the timeline. I use lists to follow people. I do not look at the timeline at all, because it's useless to me. There's too much noise. And if you can algorithmically show me things that are more interesting to me, I'm far more likely to focus my attention there than I have in the past. But I absolutely do. I just ignore it. So I think they're trying to fix something that is broken, I think.
I don't know, Dave. I like it the way it is, and I think they should not screw around with it until they figure out a lot of other things about it. But, they're going to do what they're going to do, and I can't stop them. I can just be upset that my stock keeps going down.
There you go. So, a Twitter-related story. Mm-hmm. Martin Shkreli goes to Washington. This is from a Quartz story by Annalisa Morelli. And you'll recall the former touring pharmaceutical CEO Martin Shkreli earned well-deserved title of the most hated man in America when he jacked up the price of Darapin. He bought a pharmaceutical company and jacked up the price of Daraprim from $13.50 a pill to $750 a pill. Daraprim
Because
is
he
an
could.
antiparasitic commonly used to treat HIV patients, and for that he was widely condemned. So anyway, he's back in the news. He testified before the Congressional Committee on Oversight and Government Reform over his decision last December to jack up the price. He was bound and determined to maintain his title as the most hated man in America. It appears.
Oh, he was so vile.
He took the fifth over and over again, refused to answer any questions. And it's not necessarily that he took the fifth, but the way that he did it. He was smirking and
Oh,
laughing at the committee
God.
members. The moment he left the hearing, he took to Twitter to bash Congress. One of his tweets: "Hard to accept that these imbeciles represent the people in our government." That got nearly 1,400 retweets, most of which that I could see were highly critical of Shkreli. Quartz's video of his testimony got 17.2 million Facebook views. Congressional approval is at an all-time low, so it's quite a feat to make Congress look good. Wu-Tang Financial posted a Twitter poll asking who you like more, Congress or Shkreli. Congress got 60%, Shkreli got 40%, and if you think it was a small sample size, 22,306 votes. So it's important to note the Turing Pharmaceutical representative later defended during the same committee hearing, later defended the fact that they have kept Shkreli's price hike in place. And Shkreli has taken to social media to aggressively defend himself on Twitter and, wait for it, BL, blab. He's holding blab sessions.
And who's coming
A lot of people apparently.
to bash him?
He likes mixing it up, I guess.
A dick. Okay, well, this week, Ted Cruz, that bastion of intellectual prowess, his super PAC released an ad that misspelled the word country. And it said, "Let's take our country," misspelled, "back now before it's too late." And I'm thinking, well, let's learn how to spell it before we take it back. So they took it down, of course. This came from Gawker, who noticed it, got the screenshot, and, it's going to stay online. And the only thing that I ever think of when I look at Cruz is that his nose is growing. I think of him as Pinocchio.
The only thing I think of when I see Cruz is Senator McCarthy. But
yeah.
So this misspelling of the I never thought I'd find myself defending Ted Cruz, but the misspelling of words in political commercials in particular is actually fairly common because they create them so frequently, and it's because they're reacting to events, so they're creating them on the fly. And
if you are talking about taking office in the highest office in the land, having your finger on that hot button that could get us all.
Seriously though, BL, if it was Bernie Sanders or if it was Hillary Clinton, their ad was misspelled, you wouldn't discount them for it.
I would so. Yeah. I would so. In a former life, I was known as Eagle Eye, the proofreader. But anyway, does that bring us to better news, Dave?
It does indeed.
Okay. Well, I have to find it. Here it is. This is really kind of cool. Esurance, the insurance company, is giving away $1 million divided between 16 people, 4 per quarter in real time during the Super Bowl. And it's called the Pass It On Sweepstakes. And so people, if you retweet messages using the hashtag Esurance sweepstakes, you'll have a chance to win. So they launched it before the kickoff. And when I looked at 5 o'clock, there were more than 20,000 retweets of the hashtag. And there's an ad that's got the voice of John Krasinski. And he's showing every day people dropping everything they can so they can catch an Esurance football made of money and pass the football and the savings on to the next person, which is cheesy. But things dropped off in the ad included a towel off a naked man, a toxic chemical, and a kale smoothie. Go figure. But who wouldn't want a chance to win $1 million? I got that from Amy Core in Media Posts Out to Launch.
Very cool. Very cool. Another Super Bowl related item. So Super Bowl 50, the 50th Super Bowl ever played, big to do, is going to have some technological wow factor. This is from a Associated Press story. And so the 50th game will feature some cutting edge technology. CBS Sports is broadcasting the Super Bowl 50, and they will have a replay system that will give fans a 360-degree view of plays. 36 cameras are going to be strung around the upper deck of the stadium and will allow broadcasters to freeze a play, rotate the play, and go and look at a particular aspect of the play and then continue through the play. So it's some pretty cool technology. Viewers will be able to check out the quarterback's view from the pocket or other players' perspectives on the fields. For the first time in the Super Bowl, CBS will use 8 custom molded pylons, those little orange things that sit on the corners of the end zones, that house 16 cameras to fill the goal line to film the goal lines and the sidelines of both teams. So the cameras will have microphones embedded in them to give the natural sound of the game. In total, there will be 70 game cameras, 12 production trucks. It will be the most immersive Super Bowl experience ever, except it won't be broadcast in 4K.
Well, that's very strange. But are they GoPro cameras? What kind of cameras are they?
I suspect they're higher quality than GoPro. I don't know, but I would imagine they're top of the line cameras.
I have absolutely zero interest in the game, but I love everything around it. But there is something that this is actually not game related. This is from the Lessons Not Learned files. Coke, as you may remember if you're old enough, back in they changed the name of the brand to New Coke, and everybody just hated that, and they ended up having to change the brand back to Old Coke or whatever the hell they call it now. And back in 2006, Chevrolet ran a contest asking people to use the gorgeous photos from their advertising, cars on top of mountains and at beautiful beaches, all over, beautiful advertising type photos. And they asked them to put their own captions on these photos. And it quickly devolved into really unflattering content like, Chevy's destroying the world. And horrible, horrible stuff. So now, fast forward, it's 2016, and nothing has been learned by Coca-Cola. And so they introduce a new slogan. They ditched open happiness, the 7-year-old slogan that they had that I never quite understood. And now it's taste the feeling. So as part of the branding initiative, they explained that the new slogan puts the focus back on the product. Okay, whatever. And they promoted the slogan with a GIF maker that lets people add overlaid content on top of a massive GIF created by Coke. And of course, Tumblr users wasted no time hijacking the GIF maker, as noticed by the Daily Dot. And so you take a scroll through the hashtag Coca-Cola on Tumblr, and I don't think that's what they were expecting, but then you wonder why the hell not. So Coke's response, it had like Coke shooting out of a bottle, and it was labeled diarrhea. And there was there were some that were really grody, and there were some that were really funny. And Coke's response was, well, the majority have used GIF the feeling in positive ways. It's unfortunate to see that some people have chosen to use our campaign to do just the opposite.
Well, that was about the only response they could have.
Who cares if they, brands learn nothing. I have to imagine that it's because they don't train their people. I just can't imagine. It's that, it's those ads that say digital native wanted to run social media. What the hell else could it be? How could you be that stupid? How many times has that happened?
Well, I got a response story here that's pretty good. This is actually by my boss, Glenn Karwoski, wrote a piece he writes for the Twin Cities Business magazine, and this is about Chipotle closing its doors on Monday over the lunch rush. So don't try and grab a burrito tomorrow for lunch at Chipotle. because they're going to be closed nationwide. They're doing a company-wide food safety training session. They, of course, have been hit by a spate of foodborne illnesses and illness cases that were traced to the chain last year. Sales and stock prices plunged as a result. The restaurant has developed a new food safety protocols as they need to. Obviously, they've hired a food safety expert, and now they'll be holding an employee training sessions. Clearly, a necessary step, but they didn't have to do it during the rush hour. But what better way to make the point to their customers than closing shop and putting up a sign that's saying we're taking food safety training classes? It's a good move, good PR move, and hopefully their protocols and food safety expert are better.
You have to wonder what's going on there. But I saw the president before the second round of issues, like they had the first round of issues. And I saw him, I'm pretty sure it was on the Today Show, and he was saying, we now have the highest safety standards in the industry or any industry and on the planet. And, this is going to be the safest place to eat of any place. And we're going to set the standards for everybody else. And the very next week, all these people fell ill. So, you do start wondering whether there's sabotage going on. But even if there was, they need to have a way to pick it up. I'm not really going there.
It's one of my favorite places. I'll risk it. It
Let us
also
know how you
kind of
do.
is a risk of being in the food industry is, stuff does happen. You need to have proper training and all that in place, but it does happen.
But, I have to tell you, my first husband worked at Pepperidge Farm, and that was back in the day when Pepperidge Farm was owned by a family, and that plant, and I believe all plants to this day, have regulations about how many insect parts and rodent hairs are allowed to be in the flour that they use. I mean, it is impossible to have 100% pure ingredients. And so when you eat things, my grandmother always said, you got to eat a peck of dirt before you die. But when you eat things, you are eating some pretty strange things, like it or not. That's just reality. So why the ones that totally make you sick? I don't know. So on another much sweeter note, Pantene has a series with the football players, and it's called Pantene Dad Do Series, in which the dads, just came to me through my friend Sasha Moradali, and it's Pantene is saying, and they're right, girls who spend quality time with their dad grow up to be stronger women. So they're teaming up with some of the toughest dads and the most adorable kids in the NFL. And so you watch and you learn how you can put the next generation of strong in your hands, and the players have to give their little girls a dad do. And one of them says, I don't know, maybe it's because my hands are so big and the mom's hands aren't, but he just couldn't do it. And but they all end up laughing, and it's cute and all of that. And it's just a lovely campaign. And the videos are on YouTube in a series, and some of them are like one thing sticking up over here and one thing over there, but it doesn't matter. The kids are happy, and they're happy because daddy did it. Kind of nice.
That's very sweet. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, are we on to shiny new stuff?
I know I have another one, Super Bowl one. Bose, I think this was just such a good idea. This is from an Adweek story by Christopher Heine, and instead of running a $5 million Super Bowl ad, something that I think has to be among the stupidest waste of money in the world, instead of doing that, they want the users to jam out. So they're taking tweets and turning them into lyrics, and they have a fan tracks initiative. And this was created by 360i in New York, and it's focused on Twitter, and it has a dedicated Tumblr blog. So through the game, they will encourage consumers to compose tweets with the hashtag Let's Hear It, and then they'll turn it into country, gospel, funk, and even Norwegian metal. And it's great fun. It involves calling on fans of the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers, and tweet about what the teams are saying while using the hashtag Let's Hear It. And they have some samples on there, and they're really kind of fun. So I think that's something that is better than an ad. Anything that's better is better than an ad that brings people into the whole thing and interacts with them.
That's very clever, very clever. And you have a measure of control over it. I mean, you're doing the editing of the tweets you include in the song, so you don't have the risk of getting it hijacked.
Yeah, you're not going to see diarrhea coming out of your Coke bottle. So yeah, that does bring us to shiny new objects. What do you got?
Spotify added video. So this is from The Verge. Chris Welch story. They've added video to the podcasting that they had previously. So if you just go to the shows section, now includes video. Just browse to shows, and previously you only had the option for podcasts, but now you have the option for video as well. Video partners they have include The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Ellen, The Daily Show, my favorite, Robot Chicken, ESPN, and BBC. So a cool new addition. It works pretty well too.
What's Robot Chicken about, Dave?
Robot Chicken is a animated, a twisted animated series on, I think it was on Comedy Central. It's great.
That's hilarious. Well, I have a couple that I thought were kind of fun. One is called PhotoJet, and it's an online art app for creating collages and photo cards and social media posts and posters and any kind of photo designs with your personal photos. And it's got a very nice interface, and I liked it. But the one I liked more was called Tin Dog. It's not new. I just found it new to me. It's Tinder for dogs. It's
Is this for breeders?
Yeah. And also, I guess, people who want to have meetups with breeds. I mean, every Saturday morning when I am able to go to Central Park, there's a meetup of Great Danes. It's like going to the Jurassic Park of dogs. And there'll be like 20 Great Danes. And then like over by the Alice in Wonderland statue, a lot of times they have like Yorkies or something. That's all very weird. So yeah, Tinder for dogs.
Cool. That's funny. Speaking of the photo one, I forgot to mention this, but Facebook Friends Day was actually really good. I was completely going to ignore it, and then I clicked on it for whatever reason, and they algorithmically put together a animated photo album of you and your friends, and I was pretty impressed. It was really good.
It really was. I mean, it was fun for all the people who I looked at it. All of them were well done. Yep. I don't understand why every time we come to Blab, it welcomes us for our first time. It's like this doctor I used to go to.
Use cookies, I guess.
Every time I went, he'd shake my hand and say, "Nice to meet you."
So one last shiny object, Super Bowl related. I'm going to try this out right after the podcast. CBS has a sports app for Fire TV and Android tablets that will be live streaming Super Bowl 50. And so you can watch video highlights, you can watch a live stream, you can watch CBS Sports Network original content. I've tried it out. It works really well, but I will be very fascinated to see how it works as a live stream.
Didn't you also get a big update on Alexa this week?
Alexa, well, Amazon's running Super Bowl ads. So I think Echo will be far more well-known after today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, and are you still liking her?
Absolutely.
What can she do?
Everything. Read books. Tell me the weather. Give me the latest news. Play music.
Siri
everything.
does all that.
Yeah, but Siri's not. I have to remember to pick up my phone. All I do is ask Echo, and I don't want to say her name because she'll
was spying on me. She was there all the time. I watched John Oliver and John Snowden, was Edward Snowden today, talking about what is known about us and how we use our phones. So I must be in a paranoid mood.
Yeah, well, privacy is dead. I gave up that idea a long time ago.
I think privacy died when you get your first credit card. That's the end of you.
Yes.
Get your driver's license. You're done.
Yep. All right, so wrap this up.
Sure.
Daily numbers, how corporate ethical reputation affects consumer behavior. This is from a survey by Mintel. Actions taken by U.S. internet users when they believe a company is ethical versus when they believe a company is unethical. So Will they tell others when they believe a company is being unethical? 35% said they would. Would they tell others when they believe a company is being ethical? 34% said they would. Okay,
Really?
so they're more likely to tell people when. I mean, it's probably it's a distinction without a difference. It's about the same, but then you get to stop buying their products. Um, would you buy their products if you because you knew a company was acting ethically? 45% said yes, they would. That would motivate them to buy products from that company. But those who believe a company is being acting unethically, 56% would stop buying their products. So if you're doing something that's perceived as unethical, you're far more likely to lose business than if you are touting your ethics. And so people are more motivated to act when they believe a company's being unethical than if they believe a company's being ethical.
Ethics is a very, very all-encompassing study. It really. I have this blog. It's pretty much inactive, but it's ethical crisis, in which people could confess like unethical things that they did anonymously. I'm telling you, people do bad things. And, I think there's like overall, there's not a huge understanding of what ethics is, and that is part of what the issue is with corporations. Ethics is a subject that needs a lot more education and learning, I think.
So there you go. We should revive the blog.
Yeah, well, I really should. Except I was getting illegal confessions. I didn't want to have those. So this seems like a good time to mention our newsletter. And if you sign up to get the Beyond Social Media Show newsletter, which is filled with stuff we don't get to cover on the show, and you get, along with your subscription, you get the big book of shiny objects. And every week, Dave and I, for the last 129 episodes, have covered the objects and apps that we have become enamored of and shared them with you. And we have taken, what is the number, 51 of them? Dave?
I
Yeah,
can't
something
remember. I
like
think
that.
it's
Something
at
like
least 50.
51.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've categorized them by what they do for you, and ones that are fun, and ones that are work, and ones that are research, and we put them in the big book of shiny new objects. And if you want to have it, and it will be updated every quarter, subscribe to our newsletter. And I think that, I mean, we worked really hard on it. I think that you will like it, and we want to keep doing that for you. But we need your feedback.
And you can get that at the show website, beyondsocialmediashow.com/newsletter. We have all our past podcasts are listed there with links to everything that we talk about for each episode. So definitely visit that. Follow us on Twitter at BS Media Show. We're on Facebook. We're on Google Plus. We're on YouTube.
We're on iTunes and we're on Stitcher. And a lot of people seem to like to download the podcast portion of the show. So that's really great. Please go and follow us. And we'll be back next week, same time, same station. And we welcome your questions and suggestions. And, see you next time. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
watching.
watching.